Introduction to Acts and Risks Assessment in Machining Production. Welcome to our presentation on Acts and Risks Assessment in Machining Production. Today, we'll discuss the importance of risk assessment in creating a safe working environment and how it can help minimize accidents and improve overall safety. As Sir Brian Appleton once said, safety is not an intellectual exercise to keep us in work. It is a matter of life and death. In a machining factory, for example, workers are exposed to hazards such as moving parts, sharp edges, and high noise levels. By understanding and addressing these risks, we can make the workplace safer for all. Understanding the machining process. In order to effectively assess risks in machining production, we must first understand the machining process. We'll take a brief look at different types of machining operations such as milling, turning, and grinding, and the importance of understanding these processes for accurate risk assessment. Keep in mind that in 2020, there were 2.7 million non-fatal workplace injuries and illnesses reported in the United States. For instance, milling machines may create flying chips, which can injure workers if not properly controlled. Common hazards in machining production. Let's now identify some potential hazards in machining production. These hazards can be categorized as physical, chemical, ergonomic, and electrical. For example, physical hazards may include rotating parts or cutting tools, while chemical hazards could involve exposure to metalworking fluids or coolants. By recognizing these hazards, we can take appropriate measures to mitigate the risks they pose. Risk assessment techniques. To effectively manage risks in machining production, we'll introduce qualitative and quantitative risk assessment techniques, as well as job safety analysis, JSA, and failure modes and effects analysis, FMEA. For instance, a JSA for a milling operation would involve breaking down the task into individual steps, identifying potential hazards for each step, and determining appropriate control measures. These methods will help us prioritize and address potential hazards. Implementing safety measures. Once risks have been assessed, it's time to take action to improve safety. We'll discuss engineering and administrative controls, as well as the importance of having an emergency response plan in place. For example, engineering controls for a grinding operation may include installing a machine guard or dust collection system, while administrative controls might involve scheduling regular machine maintenance. A 10% reduction in workplace injuries could save U.S. businesses over $1 billion per year. Personal Protective Equipment, PPE. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, plays a crucial role in ensuring the safety of workers in machining production. We'll talk about the different types of PPE and their proper selection, use, and maintenance. For instance, workers operating a lathe should wear safety glasses to protect their eyes from flying debris, as well as hearing protection to reduce the risk of noise-induced hearing loss. Remember, proper use of PPE can reduce the risk of injury by up to 80%. Training and education. Building a culture of safety starts with empowering employees through training and education. We'll cover the importance of training on hazard recognition, safe work procedures, and emergency response. For example, a worker new to operating a CNC machine should receive hands-on training on safe operation, as well as guidance on recognizing and addressing potential hazards. As Benjamin Franklin said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Monitoring and reviewing. Risk management is an ongoing process that requires regular monitoring and reviewing. We'll discuss the importance of inspections, audits, incident investigations, and continuous improvement. For example, a monthly safety audit may reveal the need for additional machine guarding or updated safety procedures. Companies that actively monitor and review safety measures report 60% fewer workplace injuries. Case study: Successful risk management in machining production. Let's examine a real-world example of effective risk assessment in machining production. We'll present a brief overview of ABC Machining Company's challenges, risks identified, and the successful implementation of risk management strategies that led to a safer working environment. By identifying risks such as excessive noise and poor ventilation, ABC Machining was able to implement controls like installing noise-reducing barriers and improving their ventilation system, resulting in a significant reduction in workplace injuries. Benefits of proper risk assessment. Investing in risk assessment and management pays off in numerous ways. Some of the benefits include reduced accidents and injuries, increased productivity and efficiency, lower workers' compensation costs, and improved employee morale and retention. For example, XYZ Manufacturing saw a 40% reduction in workers' compensation claims and a 15% increase in productivity after implementing a comprehensive risk management program. Best practices for risk assessment in machining production. We'll wrap up our presentation by highlighting some key best practices for risk assessment in machining production. These practices include top-down commitment to safety culture, regular hazard identification and risk assessments, effective implementation of safety measures, and continuous monitoring, training, and improvement. For instance, DEF Machining's leadership team made a commitment to invest in safety training and equipment, which led to a significant improvement in workplace safety and employee satisfaction. Conclusion and key takeaways. In conclusion, remember the importance of risk assessment in machining production, understanding the process and its hazards, proper techniques for assessing and managing risks, and the need for continuous monitoring, training, and improvement. As we wrap up our presentation, let's keep in mind this quote: "In safety, it's not the finish line that counts. It's the journey." By prioritizing safety and implementing best practices, we can create a safer working environment for everyone involved in machining production. Thank you for joining us today, and remember to always put safety first in your workplace.